Oh, my clip, yeah. And, some people who are following the news might already be aware of this. There was a shooting last week in Philadelphia where a self-proclaimed Muslim shot a police officer that was in their car. And if anybody followed that, there was a press briefing or whatever, and the chief of police gave one description, and then the mayor of Philadelphia came along and gave a different description. And what I did is I just grabbed clips from both those, one from the chief of police, I believe it's the chief of police, and the other from the mayor, and I put them back to back. And it's all in one clip, but if there will be a pause place in between. But the reason, before we play it, I wanted to just kind of frame my perspective that I'm hoping to get across is, how do we define religion? Some people might have read, I made this little article about Duplo Legos a couple years back. You can read it on Messianic Publications, I think. Rob Roy's got it up there. And it's just one way of framing the issue of when we use terms that are so vague or abstract that we think we're talking about real things. We can fool ourselves to think we're talking about real things when in fact it's really nonsense. And we get into this when we talk about, quote, religion, or, quote, Judaism, or, quote, Christianity, and in this place it has to do with something called Islam. And so that's kind of the setup, dealing with abstract terms versus a concrete expression of faith, of a person's religion. And how do we deal with the issue of insiders claiming to represent their religion and then outsiders talking about it but having a perspective very different than the ones of the insiders? So it sounds kind of, even me talking about it sounds kind of abstract. So let's play that clip on defining religion, and then Caleb, be ready to pause at the end of that first segment from it.
The suspect in question is a 30-year-old male from Yaden. He has a Philadelphia address as well, I believe. Has confessed to committing this cowardly act in the name of Islam. According to him, he believes that the police defend laws that are contrary to the teachings of the Quran.
Okay, pause. Okay, so that is the shooter's own words. I mean, that he said, and we're taking, of course, I don't have the recording of his actual words, but I'm taking the police chief's word for it, that this guy is saying, yeah, I did this. Yeah, it's in the name of Islam, and that I am protesting the laws that you police officers are defending, because it's a non-law, because it's contrary to the laws of the Quran. Okay, that's the shooter's testimony. Okay, now if you just continue that clip, it'll be the mayor's. Now, these were not back to, I don't know how much time was between these two, but I believe these are both from the same overall press briefing.
Okay, sorry.
In no way, shape, or form does anyone in this room believe that Islam or the teaching of Islam has anything to do with what you've seen on that screen. That is abhorrent. It's terrible, and it does not represent the religion in any way, shape, or form, or any of its teachings.
Okay. So, who's it? If we're just a listener here, who are we to believe? I have a guy who was dressed in traditional Muslim. I don't remember what the garment, the overall.
Oh man, now you're testing me here.
But anyway, whatever that garment is called. Is it a frock? It's not a frock, is it? It's like
not
a large.
There's a name for it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not a burqa. That would be the.
That's the head. That's the head thing. This shows our well-learned knowledge of Islam.
Anyway, so he had, it looked like he had pants on underneath, but then he had this long dress, like a ritual-looking kind of dress, and then his own words. Yeah, your laws are against the Quran, and I did this. I'm just in what I did because I'm doing it in the name of Islam. Okay. on one hand, and then you have another guy say, "Oh, this had nothing to do with Islam," that even to suggest is abhorrent, has nothing to do with the teachings of Islam. Okay. So what's the problem here? The problem is...
Wait, hang on, though.
Go ahead.
Isn't in the second guy saying, no, we don't agree that it's... Now, maybe I misheard him. I thought what he was saying is that, like, this isn't the true teachings of Islam. Like, we disagree with this being the teaching of Islam. Let's listen to it again. Where were we? 20?
Which one? The second half?
The second guy, hang on.
Yeah. Okay.
In no way, shape, or form does anyone in this room believe that Islam or the teaching of Islam has anything to do with what you've seen on that screen.
Okay, so what he's saying is the people in this room, we don't agree with this guy. I think that's what he's saying. Like, we don't agree that Islam teaches this. This guy says it does. But what we're saying is this guy's a terrorist. He's out of his mind. He's a moron.
Okay. So let's say that about the mayor. So is the mayor going to tell us what true Islam is then?
Yeah, I think he would. He would say it's a religion of peace, right?
Is he in a position to define what Islam is? And then who? So then here's the question: who's in a position to define what religion is true?
Oh, this is going to tie in well to our main.
In other words, well, let's look within Christianity, just in the same issue.
Oh wait, hang on. And now Adam brings up a great point. He says George Bush taught us that Islam is peace. So is George Bush?
I don't remember that. But yeah. Well, there we go. It's where we have a politician defining what a religion is and is not. When you have someone foot on the ground actually acting. Well, it's the same thing with like ISIS, for example, in Syria. You know, they believe they are true Islam, right? Mm-hmm. But then you'd have, Islam's a religion of peace. Islam wouldn't do this kind of thing. Now we're getting in an ideological polemic, or basically ideological war of who gets to define what is the true, quote, Islam. And here's the problem. It's an abstraction. The idea of Islam is an abstract term that is never going to be fully defined. Because each community is going to come along and say, no, we are the true Islam. Just like you say, we are the true Mormons. Those other Mormons aren't the true Mormons. We still believe in polygamy. The LDS has gone liberal by rejecting polygamy. We're the true Mormons. You have the same thing in Buddhism. You have the same thing in Christianity or in Judaism. Why? Because each of these big umbrellas doesn't help. It doesn't serve. It's too fuzzy. And that's why I get back into the Duplo Legos here. How is it helpful for our education to have the shooter say Islam is this, and then have the mayor of Philadelphia say, no, Islam is this?
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here for a few seconds.
Okay.
So you had the same kind of thing going on in Jerusalem in 1948 when the guys walked into the King David Hotel, which was really the British intelligence, right? And they put the bombs in the basement, and they walked out. They called. They said there's a bomb in the hotel. They didn't believe them. They blew the hotel up, and a lot of people died. Okay, so the question is that, were they doing that in the name of Judaism, and would we say that was a correct representation of Judaism?
Well, it's like the guy we read a couple of weeks ago. Was it the guy who said he wants to get the vampires out of Israel?
Yeah.
Talking about Christians are vampires because they drink blood.
What I'm wondering is, are you saying that no one is able to define what a religion is?
I'm saying that the words like religion and words like Christianity and Judaism, they are only superficially helpful. And our example, from last week was that we have these, quote, rabbis representing Orthodox Judaism, and they're endorsing a partnership with, quote, Christianity, or the church, which is really the Catholic Church, in this kind of picture of how we're going to co-labor to bring God's will into the planet. And as long as we keep it in these big, like, Duplo Lego pictures, we'll go, oh, yeah, okay, I can sign on to that. But you can't, nothing will, it's not going to stick together.
Oh,
it's
man,
not,
we're gonna have
it's
fun.
not going to last.
We're gonna have fun with the main topic today.